駆け抜け青春スパーキング。
As surprised as I was, I had no reason to turn her down. Damn! This quickly? With Hibiki, we never even saw her room, and with Shiori, it took until a few days before they confessed? Right? Something like that. I let the club members know that Kashima had made that suggestion over Lin.
乗ったわ。行く。お二人がそう言うなら。
With these three free, the following day, we stopped by Kashima's place.
昨日欠席しちゃった分もね、取り返さないと。
Yeah, but like, you know, she wanted you by yourself.
鹿島先輩のお家、初めて。どんなお家なのかな。クークルマップによると、そろそろ見えてくるはずですが。
Google Maps. I didn't expect they would. I didn't expect they would reference Google. I mean Google. Yeah, just straight ahead. Wait, could that be it?
ものすっごい豪華なマンション。うちと同じくらいの高層マンションね。
Come to think of it, Hibiki's family were pretty rich too. Rich too. They had to add the sparkle effect, didn't they?
いらっしゃいませ、皆さん。
Riri is disappointed that it's not only you. Her house was just as lavish on the inside as the outside. Not to mention,
こんなマンションの最上階2フロアが鹿島先輩のお家なんて。
that I'd known her family was well off, but it did exceed my expectations somewhat.
すごい、これは探検しがいがありそうね。早速行くわよ、しおり。小日向先輩がそう言うなら。
Hibiki immediately began rushing around with Hiragi in tow. Kashima, are you okay with them doing that?
はい。今は家族も出かけてますし、大丈夫です。
Your family? Oh my god, it's even worse than I imagined. I thought at least her parents would still be here, but no. She made sure to invite him on a day where her family wouldn't be here, so it would actually just be the two of them. Or at least that's what she was hoping for.
響ちゃんのことだから勝手に冷蔵庫とかも開けちゃいそうだけど。変なものは入ってないと思いますので。いやー、何よこの冷蔵庫、高そうなお肉の塊が入ってるじゃない。案の定だったよ。
Does she not know what restraint means?
まあまあ、こちらは大丈夫ですから。
Listen, you should have realized she doesn't know what restraint means. You've seen the events of Hibiki's route, alright? As long as you're okay with it. But, on the luxurious desk, an acrylic keychain inside a transparent glass case caught my eye. It was the limited crystal version of Kiranyan. Could this be the one I gave her as a present the other day? The other day, bro, it's been however many fucking months. However many fucking months since the common route. That sure was an elaborate display. Hey, Kashima, is that? Yeah, she enacted. What's the word? Erected a shrine. Not because it's a limited edition Kiranyan, but because it's a Kiranyan that was given to her by you. You.
はい。
Kashima's face poofed the bright red.
違うんです。どの子にもらえたのが嬉しくて大切に飾ってるだけで、それで。
I see. You're taking good care of it.
それはもう、大切にしています。
Yeah, it's enshrined. She's never gonna use it. If it made her that happy, then it was worth giving to her.
とりあえず、遠野くんとりっちゃんは、くつろいでください。私はお茶の用意でもしてきますので、一旦、失礼しますね。
Kashima smiled bashfully and left the room.
へえ、それお兄ちゃんがあげたものなんだ。
Surely? No, never mind. The other girls are fucking... They wouldn't be able to put two and two together. But I was gonna say, like, surely one of the girls would realize that, wait a minute, if Riri was inviting you to come over to her house, and it just so happens that Riri's parents are also not here at the moment, that means that Riri and you would have been alone together if it wasn't for him inviting the rest of us. I mean, Kika definitely would have picked up on that, but you know, Hiragi, Ritsu, Hibiki, and Shiori. Yeah, I don't know. I just happened to have it when I heard Kashima is collecting them.
へえ、そうなんだ。にしてもすごいお部屋だね。うちとは大違いだね。
You said it. Yeah, I don't think they have enough money to spend on plushies. They don't have enough disposable income to spend on plushies. It's rude to look around too much, right?
かもしれないけど、でもこれは見回しちゃうよ。こんな部屋で暮らしてるから、鹿島先輩もあんなに品があるんだろうな、とか。
Well, yeah, I could more or less understand that. If this was normal for her, then it explained why she laid out a handkerchief to sit at the beach. Really? You had the flashback to... Listen, at least it's not a flashback of anything that I would have to censor. I got to see her refined boobs through her shirt yesterday, and also her ass the entire time. Those thoughts began to creep in, and I quickly shook them away. Not good, not good. That isn't what I should remember. What would be cool, right? What would be interesting, what would be refreshing, I guess, is if you intentionally invited the three of them so that it wasn't just you and Riri by themselves, right? Like, he did pick up on the invitation thing, or well, no, more like he'd be too embarrassed to be with her without anyone else around, right? Or something like that.
これが私の青春ですから。
That single thought, that sort of mindset was nothing short of foreign to me. The problem with my line of thinking there is, you know, you would have said something and a thought, right? He would have thought it, and we would have been aware that that's his intentions that was his intention of in inviting the other girls, right? That had come to be that had to come from being raised in such a large home. At least that was the feeling I got.
お茶が入ったわよ。入れたのは鹿島先輩ですけど。細かいことはいいの。ほら、ちゃんとケーキ付きよ。ケーキ！こういう用意がしてあるところもさすがって感じよね。ってわけで、いただきまーす。今度は部屋を鑑賞しながら。いただきまーす。ひびきちゃん、あのカーテン素敵だよね。いかにも高そうだしね。私としては本棚が気になります。 希少な占星術に関する本が普通に並んでて、
私の本棚は漫画ばっかりよ。
Yeah, that sounded about right for her.
ベッドもふかふかだし、ほんとお嬢様のお部屋だよね。憧れちゃうな。
Everyone excitedly scanned their surroundings again. But... Huh? Why did Kashima look so restless? She shrunk up and fidgeted whenever anyone reacted to something. Almost like she felt bad. What's the matter, Kashima? I made sure none of the others who were absorbed in looking around the room overheard me. I quietly whispered into Kashima's ear. When I did, she bounced in place. She whispered back to me and shrunk up even smaller. It doesn't look like nothing to me.
そうですよね。師匠はお見通しですよね。
Yeah, you'd hope he would also see straight through her in regards to other things. And specifically when it comes to romance. Because, like, you know, I don't see why that would be an exception. If he's good at reading people, I had a feeling it was because I was looking straight at her rather than the room. Of course, it wasn't like I was going to tell her that. What in the world was wrong with me lately?
昨日は勢いで誘ってしまいましたけど、ちょっとこうなると落ち着かなくなってしまって。
Kashima shrunk up as she whispered that to me. Yeah, it is kind of unsettling. Considering they're really gawky all over the place.
いえ、そうではなくて、なんと言いますか、私はたまたまこういう家に生まれただけなのにって。でも、やっぱり皆さんとは生まれ育ちが違うんだって。
You mean, the more everyone gawked over Kashima's belongings, the more self-conscious she felt. I mean, yeah, I was sure that was unavoidable to some degree.
みんながみんな、こういう家じゃないのは分かっています。それこそ、恵まれない人たちがいることも。だから私は、そんな人たちに奉仕しなくちゃって、ボランティア部を立ち上げたんです。
Really?
はい。
If that was the case, that was nothing short of commendable. Even though she was born to a wealthy family, no, because she was born into one, she felt she had to dedicate herself to others. I mean, that's definitely because she was raised in a certain way where she would feel that way. Because, like, let's be honest here. Most people who grew up in this kind of situation would grow up spoiled. Alright? They would not grow up to be like Riri. That was nothing. That wasn't something that wasn't something just anyone could do. Kashima really was outstanding. Yeah, almost dazzlingly so.
それも全部。ってごめんなさい。変な話をしてしまって。
Oh, no. It's nothing like that. If anything, I was happy. Happy that I was able to get to know Kashima better like this. In truth, my heart was pounding a little harder than normal, and that's why I'm zooming in right now. I wanted to learn more about Kashima. Fuck! This is why you and Kashima should have been by themselves. Now they're getting fucking cock-blocked. Well, you is getting cock-blocked by Hibiki.
何二人でひそひそ話してるのよ。
Well...
何私も混ぜなさいってば。
Like I'm saying, everyone was going to be on edge if I told them how self-conscious Kashima had been feeling. That's probably why she only told me. Only me. No, never mind that. This wasn't the time for me to get a big head. Or a hard one. What? It's not a big deal. We're just talking about our plans for tomorrow. Right, Kashima? Nudge, nudge.
はい。
She seemed to have caught on that I was trying to divert the conversation and nodded several times in agreement. Although it was something I'd quickly conjured up, Hibiki and the others seemed to have bought it.
ああ、確かに明日以降どうするかは決まってないわよね。
ちょうどいいから今ここで話し合っちゃう？
See, it's a shame that Kika isn't here, because she definitely would have said something to tease you. She definitely would have teased you. How am I saying this? She definitely would have said something along the lines of, "Are you sure you weren't just flirting with Riri or something like that?" Right, to tease you, and it would have been right on the money. And unfortunately, Kika isn't here, because of course she isn't. She would be the only one to understand that Riri wanted you to be the only person here other than Riri.
リツがそう言うなら、そうですね。今まで出ていて、まだ消化していない案はたくさんありますし。
私はこのまま他の部員の家を回りたいわね。
ここで今まで出てなかった案が？
なんかそういう流れじゃない？他の部員が普段どんな生活してるかも知りたいし。
それはありますね。気になります。
Wait, our place? We're pretty much normal, right, Ritsu?
うちに決まりなの？それじゃつまらないよ。じゃあ、じゃんけんで決めよう。
いいわ、望むところよ。じゃあ鹿島さん抜きでじゃんけんね。しおりもゆうもそれでいいわね。
はあ、まあ。
I can't exactly refuse anymore, given how this played out. Besides,
だから細かいことはいいの。ってわけで、最初はグー、じゃんけんぽん。
yeah, I wonder who's going to win? Lose? Lose, I guess. The loser's house, right? As frustrating as it was, you couldn't help but play on reflex whenever someone shouted that out. Hibiki, Hiragi, and I played scissors.
負けた。
Right. Ritsu, who played paper, was the sole loser.
じゃあ、明日はうちだね。他の誰かのお家に行きたかったよ。
Here's the thing, right? On reflex, right? Most people would pick rock. Ritsu... Interesting. Paper. I mean, yeah, I guess. More like if we're playing rock paper scissors with this group of 4, it put us at a disadvantage with 50-50 odds of being picked. Well, yeah, but like, you know, couldn't it be like, well, you only got rid of one of us, but I'm still here. So I'd have to lose 2 for it to definitively be my house.
あ、言われてみれば。でもじゃんけんって言い出したの私だった。
I guess you would say that this blew up in your face.
まあ別にいいんだけどね。来られて困るようにはしてないし。
Especially since she picked paper. And I mean, strategically, I guess it makes sense considering the reflex for most people would be rock. But the 3 of them automatically picked scissors, which is more interesting.
それじゃあ、明日はこのりっちゃんの家事が行き届いた我が家、とくとご覧いただこう。
そうこなくっちゃ。
You've already been over tons of times.
それとこれとは話が別よ。ね、しおり、鹿島さん。
小日向先輩がそう言うなら、 そういうことで。私は行ったことはありませんので、普通に楽しみです。
冷蔵庫、勝手に開けたりしちゃダメよ。
Like you're one to talk. Whatever the case, there you had it. Tomorrow would be at home visit part 2, the Tono household chapter. Can you have a different reaction? Like, this is the 3rd time that... This is the 4th time now. It's getting a bit tiring. That night, I was in my bedroom, hanging my pillow against my chest and rolling around again. After all.
遠野くんがうちに来てくれて、私の部屋で私の話を聞いてくれて。
He saw the shrine of the Kiranyan that I erected because it was the one that he gave me.
それだけで幸せだったのに、まさか明日はお家にお邪魔できるなんて。昨日勇気出してよかった。今日の昼間はちょっと後ろめたい気分にもなっちゃいましたけど、でも明日はどんなお家なんだろう。どんな暮らししてるんだろう。遠野くん。
Okay, well, she didn't do as many kyas as I expected.
青春スパーキング。
With that, the following afternoon.
お邪魔します。
This is going to be crowded. Hey, why is today the one day everyone gathers together? Especially after how much of a mess the day of the festival was.
むしろ昨日おとといと参加できなかった分、取り返さなきゃでしょ。
I can't argue when you put it like that. Except, I don't think going to Yu's house is going to make up for the fact that none of you worked with them during the festival.
こんなにたくさん座布団あったかな。
ああ、お構いなくっす。その辺に座ってますんで。柿つばた先輩は
また歌詞が合ってないよ。あげく俺座布団座りたいよ。
お兄ちゃんの部屋と私の部屋のクッション総動員すればなんとかなるかな。
I guess if we don't have enough, we could have people sit in chairs.
そうだね。それじゃあお兄ちゃん、案内お願い。私は飲み物の用意をするね。麦茶でいいよね。
律手作りの麦茶なら大喜びでいただくわ。
It feels like there's some deeper meaning to how you phrased that.
ユウの手作りだとちょっと怖いってことね。
Nobody asked for your translation. I get the idea. Hey, it wouldn't be scary.
俺はユウ手作りの方が良かったな。
It's because she's a guy.
こう、ユウがギュッと手で絞ったな。
Kinda gay. Okay. Sorry. Even I wouldn't want to drink that.
なんだって？
Well, anyway, let's ignore Shinji for now. Have a seat. We'll give the girls give the girls preference on the cushions. You're sitting down already.
私と律の中ですから。
This is my house too, you know, and you've also never been to their house. No, you don't have to stand up. It's a little late for that anyway.
ってわけで私も座布団ゲット。
Man. Anyway, wait here a second and I'll grab more cushions. The way we spent our time was different with this big of a crowd.
しかし改めて小ざっぱりとした家よね。
I was hoping for at least the CG of them huddled around together. Don't sprawl out. You act like you own the place.
テレビつけるっすよ。
お、そうね。お願いお願い。
リモコンこれっすね。ポチッとな。
You're both making yourselves two at home. I mean, I like Kika making herself at home. Hibiki. Well, it's different when it's Hibiki doing it. This group really took make yourself at home a little too literally.
さすが掃除、きっちり行き届いてるわね。そうでしょ、そうでしょ。秘訣、聞きたいです。それはやっぱり、毎日こまめにやることだよね。それしかないわよね。
This group was also the type to get excited about housework.
ユウ、なんだお前の部屋の本棚、参考書ばっかじゃないか。ってわけで、うちから持ってきた漫画、適当に突っ込んでおいたからな。
Huh? Why?
そんなの、お前と盛り上がりたいからに決まってるだろ。
Brother, I don't want to be in the same room as you while I'm reading fucking dojins.
言わせるなよ、こんなこと。バカ、ドカン。
Why am I being chastised? Not to mention, with such archaic insults. Whatever the case, Shinji was, just like it looked, working hard at reorganizing my room for some reason. That left one last person. She's feeling self-conscious again because she realizes this is what a normal person's house looks like compared to her apartment style fucking. How would you even describe it? She owns the top floor. Kashima, you can relax, you know. You can't really call it a penthouse. Cause like, you know, they're apartment style buildings. It's an apartment style building. Kashima was acting oddly tense. She had been sitting up straight in the dining room chair this whole time. What's up? Naturally, I was concerned and sat across from her. I sat down across from her. She jumped in place and, for some reason unknown to me, flushed bright red. I mean, I know our place can't even compare to yours.
そういうのじゃなくて、なんだかすごく感じてしまって。
Huh? But what? By what?
遠野くんはこの家での生活を守ろうとしてたんだなって、あんなにも必死で。
Yeah, you're kind of the only person who realized that. Was she referring to what happened with Nagomi before? Huh? So that's what Kashima had been thinking about. Ritsu's the one keeping up on chores around here, though. I couldn't help but change the subject in a vain attempt to hide my embarrassment.
でもそれも、遠野くんの頑張りあってこそのことだったじゃないですか。一生懸命勉強して、アルバイトをして。
Yeah, you may be right about that, but that's normal for me. It's not really a big deal. And that's why no one else brings it up, because you don't see it as a big deal. So then you can continually keep getting taken advantage of by Hibiki. I wasn't sure why, but that was when Kashima held her tongue. I hadn't gotten much of anything she'd done since she got here. What? That seemed oddly frustrating to me. Now, have some barley tea.
はい、いただきます。
It is carbonated, though. Just kidding.
もう、遠野くん？
Yeah, this really was how I wanted my interactions with Kashima to be. Later, Kashima and I wound up having a long talk about our future club activities. Hibiki and Ritsu poked their heads in during our talk, and we decided to hang out in town again. Yeah, I was looking forward to tomorrow onward. I hoped I could have lots of fun with Kashima too. If you catch my drift.
遠野くんは軽く言っていたけど、大変な思いをして生活を維持してたのは、私にだってわかる。私は何の苦労もなく、のほほんと暮らしていたのに。遠野くんは胸が、チクチクする。なんだか申し訳なくて。後ろめたくて。だから、どうしても考えちゃう。やっぱり、自分みたいな甘ったれは、遠野くんみたいに自立した、立派な人とは、釣り合わないんじゃ。
Listen, Riri, the fact that you think of yourself as spoiled when you see how when you think about Yu's, how would I say, Yu's lifestyle, it's not really the right word, but considering Riri is the only one out of the group that understands how hard you is working, and you know how much he's had to sacrifice, you know, it kind of makes you look the least spoiled in the group, right? The problem is that you, in the process of doing all of this, has gotten used to the amount of work he's had to do. How do I explain it? Humans are very good at adapting, right? And in Yu's case, he works too hard, right? For someone at his age, he should not be acting like an adult, right? Look, the thing is that I understand Hibiki's perspective in this, right? But it's because of the fact that he doesn't have anything to fall back on that he kind of has to be the backbone of he has to be the breadwinner of the household, right? Because he doesn't have any parents to fall back on. He doesn't have a safety net. All he has is someone he wants to protect, who is Ritsu, right? This might be my favorite route. This might be my favorite route. And unfortunately, it's going to be all pre-confession, right? Because I don't think Riri's gonna have this mindset after they start dating. But this might be my favorite route. Very prematurely calling it, but I've been loving this route since the beginning, alright?
Kakenuke 青春スパーキング
It was now August, and a week had passed in the blink of an eye.
なんで私が最下位なのよ。
Are you asking about my rankings? Well, you know, I've already talked about why you're last place in the rankings, alright? You have a whole route explaining exactly why you're last place. You can complain all you want. That's just how it turned out. Maybe you should have had better riders on your route.
私ぶっちぎりトップ。
Well, you're definitely closer to the top, right? Than Hibiki, but Kika's still at the top, so you know, not really.
2位が私、3位が柊、4位が遠野、5位が聖ね。危うくドベツは免れたっす。
あそこで逆転マスに止まれてれば。
We were holding a board game tournament in the club room today. We'd amassed ourselves by amused ourselves by hanging out in town the last few days and opting to stay indoors today.
お金もザックザクだよ、マイ
If only it were real money, huh?
アニ。もう、そういう夢のないこと言わないの。
というか、現実といえば、リアルお金持ちの鹿島さん、今日も欠席なんてね。
ああ、はい。これで3日連続っすね。ちょっと用事とか言ってたけど、今まで出席率 100% だったから、どうしたんだろうってなっちゃうね。
She feels embarrassed. Well, no, not embarrassed. She feels inadequate in the eyes of you, right? She doesn't want to. She doesn't want to show herself to you.
気にしても仕方ないと思いますが。まあ、それはそうなんだけどね。私たちだって用事あって欠席してたんだし。
In your case, it was due to a stomachache, huh? Stomachache, though.
お腹痛いと何もできないでしょ。トイレ行くのも立派な用事よ。
まあ、必要なことではあるな。
Nobody seemed especially worried, but personally speaking, I was pretty concerned. What in the world was going on, Kashima? I guess I'll just have to message her on Lin later. That thought crossed my mind while we cleaned up the game board.
それはそれとして、最近、遠野と鹿島は前よりちょっと仲良くなってない？
My heart skipped a beat when she pointed that out. Nagiko is strangely one of the less oblivious characters in terms of how the girls see you in their routes, right? Very, very, very interesting. I was going to point out Nagiko would have been about the same as Kika in terms of her realization that Riri wanted you and herself to be alone at her apartment, right? And that's why she also wasn't there, but I only focused on Kika.
あ、それは確かに。ひそひそ話よくしてますし、前はそんなことなかったです。
Ritsu had jumped on the bandwagon as well. And not just her.
なにひょっとして二人は怪しいっていうこと？まあ、そこまでは言わないけど。律の指摘した通り、前とは違ってきている気がするのは確かね。言われてみると、そうかもしれないわ。っていうかこの前もつきっきりであの子と話してたし。ひょっとしたら、二人だけのお祭りの時、何かが。ありえる！その辺どうなのよ、
Well, something did happen. But it's not why she's absent, alright? No. Well...
先輩。確かに最近二人の青春カウント、めっちゃ変動してるっすよ。
Youth counters? There's a fucking system? Like, you have a system like that? Oh...
これは何か変化があったとしか思えないっす。今のうちに吐いておいた方が身のためっすよ。
そうよ。吐きなさいよ。
Both Hibiki and Hijiri pressed me for answers. Had we changed so drastically, people could tell just by looking at us? No. It was only Nagiko and Kika didn't. Kika's weird, right? Kika definitely realized she didn't say anything about it. But yeah, it would have just been Kika and Nagiko who noticed. And the girls only realized now after someone else pointed it out. So, you know, leaving Hijiri's mysterious youth counter out of it anyway.
ほら、しおり、あんたもなんか言ってやりなさいよ。小日向先輩がそう言うなら。
No, wait, Hiragi. This is already a huge pain as it is. You don't need to add to it.
遠野先輩がそう言うなら。
And Hiragi was ready to stand up, but sat back down following my comment. Thank goodness she was the docile type. Question mark.
バカな。ユウが女となんかあっただと？嘘だろ。嘘と言ってくれ。親友よ。
I mean, like, this is the third time now, Shinji. You need to be... You have to get used to it at some point. However, someone even more troublesome had come in to take her place. Oh no. In the end, I wound up surrounded by everyone except for Hiragi.
さあさあさあ、どうなのよ、
Nothing at all, really. I was a little lost for an answer. They were right. They were right in that she and I had started talking about things we never had before. It was also true that we had been behaving differently as a result, but still, for as much that had changed, there's nothing much to say. That was the answer I felt compelled to give.
本当に？
Isn't it obvious? For starters, Kashima and I are clearly mismatched. Yeah, that's what she thinks.
Huh?
After all, she's an amazing person, upstanding and respectable even. There aren't many people out there who would work themselves to the bone for others in spite of their rich upbringing. I honestly feel like I'm so lame, I deserve to be made fun of for it, but I'd come to learn of so many of Kashima's amazing traits. The more I learned, the more deeply impressed I became. And I couldn't shake those incredible feelings. I fully believe I'm not a good match for Kashima. When they heard my answer, everyone looked around at each other.
ユウ、あんたそれってさ、
Hibiki was the first to speak up.
あの子に惚れ始めてて、意識してるからなんじゃないの？
My heart skipped a beat all over again. I couldn't possibly be more at a loss for words. If I had to sum it up in a few words, it was likely because she'd hit the bullseye. Which was why, instead of responding, my face began to burn up.
お兄ちゃん。
当たりみたいね。
みたいっすね。
No, it's not. It's really not. I'm really not. I felt even more sorry for Kashima and tried as hard as I could to deny it when...
つまりユウ、青春真っ最中ってことね。
Huh?
まさに青春じゃない。そっか。遠野にもついに青春らしい青春が訪れたわけね。みんなで遊ぶばっかりが青春じゃないしね。恋愛、まさに青春よ。いいじゃない。
This had left me a little dazed. I never imagined everyone would take this so positively.
何お兄ちゃん。
what do I say? You sure it's okay?
そんなのお兄ちゃんの勝手でしょ。お兄ちゃんと鹿島先輩の気持ち次第なんだから。
まあ、惚れた晴れたはどうしようもないところはあるしな。俺が、ユウがいないとどうしようもないみたいにな。
Shut up. This isn't about you, Shinji. It will never be about you. You don't have a well, maybe in Kika's. Kika and Shinji are a bit close, right? Kika kind of forced that on Shinji, like how Hibiki forcing her closeness onto you, but yeah. You know, we might get more of Shinji in Kika's route.
うわ、キモ。そこ一緒にしないでくれる？
女怖え。これだから怖え。
とにかくまあユウ、そういうことなら頑張りなさい。私たちは青春部だしね。遠野が今まさに青春してるなら、 応援する以外にないでしょ。
まあね。
On the brink of enjoying his youth. He's not enjoying his youth yet. Only after he starts dating Riri, alright? Was it okay for me to do this? Was that how it worked? Then... is it okay for someone like me to fall in love with Kashima? On my way home that day... Still though, I took a detour by myself on the way home. There were a lot of things I wanted to think about. The question is Kashima herself. I can think about her as much as I want, but I'd basically be going around in circles. I wonder what Kashima thinks of me. I didn't think she thought poorly of me. But that wouldn't be enough on its own for a relationship to develop between us. That would be what I had to make sure of first. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. I felt ashamed of myself once I came to my senses. Well, because the others had egged me on. Was it possible I was just kicking up a fuss over nothing? What if Kashima had me on her mind just as much as I did her? What am I going to do? Thinking about it just made me feel more embarrassed by the second. After all, I want to experience that kind of youth with Kashima. And that thought had come to me so naturally. I guess it's true that I started to fall for Kashima. I had no choice but to accept that. But knowing that, how does Kashima feel about all this? I ultimately looped back to my earlier doubts, and I inadvertently made my way to the coast, my mind rapidly spinning in circles. Wow, who would have guessed that Riri would also be here? Kashima was there, and she was carrying around equipment to pick up trash. She had apparently been in the middle of cleaning up the coastline. Kashima. She sprung up when she noticed me. I could feel my heart pang in my chest. Who would have thought we'd meet here? Almost like it was destiny. Yeah, destiny. You were cleaning by yourself? I posed that question to her in an attempt to hide my embarrassment. I mean, you took the day off from club. No, I wasn't criticizing you. It's just, I wanted why.
大した理由があるわけじゃないんです。もっともっと頑張らなきゃって思っただけで。
Toward your volunteer activities?
はい。自分に責めてできることをって。
That's why you took the day off from club and were volunteering to pick up litter here alone? Yeah, that's Kashima for you.
ごめんなさい。それで部活をおろそかにしてしまって。
Nah, our club meetings have pretty much been us fooling around lately. I can understand how you would feel that isn't enough. And would want to spend your time elsewhere.
遠野くん。
Running into each other here must be some kind of fate. Let me help you out.
でも、悪いです。
It's fine. I can't make you do this all on your own. And besides, this isn't a route focused on you's work. It's a route focused on Riri's work. I just have to pick up the litter and stick it in that basket, right?
はい。
Basket? Not a garbage bag in a basket. I was a bit forceful when I pushed her on the issue, probably due to what I had on my mind previously. This was my chance to talk to Kashima, or maybe it wasn't, but it was a good opportunity for me to get closer to her.
ありがとうございます、殿くん。
No, I'm really the one who should be saying that. I'm no Kashima, but thanks for letting me help out.
もう
On that note, we continued picking up litter together. Man, though, you really are amazing, Kashima. I can't believe you would volunteer to clean up all this trash up. To clean all this trash up by yourself. Actually, was that why? Did you want to avoid bumming everyone out when they were so enthusiastic about having fun?
それは
I respect that side of you, Kashima. Oh,
そ
shoot.
んなんじゃないんです。
I respect that side of you, Kashima. I'd like to learn from your example. Huh? I answered her unexpected reply in an unintentionally odd voice. I looked up and Kashima had made herself small. That was the same behavior as when I'd gone to her place, or when she came over to mine. What is it like then?
その前に話しましたよね。自分は裕福な家庭に生まれたけど、世の中には恵まれない人たちがたくさんいる。だから自分はそんな人たちに奉仕したい、役に立ちたいって。
Oh, yeah, you did tell me that. I had been inspired by her mindset. And to be honest, I couldn't help thinking about Kashima because she was so... I couldn't stop thinking about Kashima because she was so selfless. However, I mean...
全部建前なんです。
Huh? Kashima hung her head and bit her lip.
本当は単に後ろめたいからなんです。私は本当に苦労も何も知らなくて、それが後ろめたくて申し訳なく思えて、だからボランティアをさせてもらってるんです。それだけなんです。
She had said before that she was grateful to help. She was doing this out of guilt. Now this is why I said I mean when I accidentally called her selfish. Feeling guilty over something that isn't in your control, right? How do I say this? There is a bit of selfishness in like it's hard to explain, right? Because of course Kashima helping out all the time is selfless, right? But the reason she's doing it, other than because, you know, out of the goodness of her heart, right? It's because she feels guilty, right? So her what's the word? Essentially what I'm trying to say is, while her actions are overall selfless, there is still a layer of selfishness under it. Right? In terms of how she sees volunteering as kind of a means to an end, right? Her reason for doing it isn't just because she wants to help people, right? It's because she doesn't want to feel as guilty as she does. I don't know, it's hard to explain.
見損ないましたか?
No. So you have that same side to you, that same side to you too? Almost a sense of inferiority, like you're too ashamed to look someone in the eye. I had felt that way toward Kashima myself. But this was how Kashima actually felt. I could kind of relate to that mentality, actually.
遠野くん。
It's the same for both of us. I also felt guilty in a sense.
私に対してですか?
Yeah. That I couldn't have as respectable of a mindset as you do.
ですから、私は今言ったように。
Like I said, I felt like I could relate. Oh, Kashima's the same as I am.
遠野くん。
But you don't need to do all of this by yourself. I'm in the same boat as you. And this doesn't affect the respect I have for you actually taking the initiative to act. If it's okay with you, I mean, I'd like it if you'd help, I'd like it if you'd let me work hard alongside you. I was aware of how hot my face was, but I had to tell her how I truly felt in that very moment. If I wanted to be closer to Kashima, there were times I had to be brave and take a step forward.
遠野くん。
Kashima's cheeks darkened to a rosy shade of pink. Seeing that made my heart instantly throb. Could she tell how much I cared for her? Yeah.
それってその。
Kashima's eyes widened as she hesitantly stepped forward toward me. When? Hey, Kashima. She stumbled over a rock at her feet and tripped. Brother, we're on the beach. There are rocks everywhere. How come you trip? How could you trip on this one specifically while you're having a moment? Are you alright? I panicked and helped her upright.
すみません。大丈夫。
Kashima, you're bleeding.
ちょっと膝をすりむいちゃったみたいです。
Well, yeah, when she tripped, her knees scraped against a bunch of tiny rocks, also known as sand.
でも大丈夫ですから、これくらい。
You're still bleeding, though. First aid, Kashima. Sit on that stone over there for me. Also known as a big rock. Listen, I'm not the one who ruined the mood. They did. Okay? They did themselves when they tripped over a rock. And by they, I mean Kashima. I mean Riri. Let me take a good look at your wound. Let me take a good look at her wound too. It's a tiny scrape. What do you mean bleeding? You're bleeding. You're gonna die.
はい。
Uh-huh. Thank goodness. It really was just a light scratch. I held Kashima's leg to examine her wound. It was all fine and well that I had acted cool and initiated this, but it wasn't like I had any equipment that would allow me to actually treat her. What should I do? But then I looked up at Kashima.
お願いします。
Her voice was noticeably bashful and frail. All of the strength had left her leg, entrusting it fully to me, meaning she was waiting for me to treat her. I can't exactly do nothing here. How to put this, considering how this had all played out. And also, if I wanted to keep up appearances as a man, actually.
どうしたんですか? Tonoka.
Was it something she'd normally... something that she'd... was this something she'd normally let a man do? Especially someone as formal and shy as Kashima. To think she'd let me grab her leg and lean my face in close like this. Is she letting me do this because I'm... because I'm me? When that thought occurred to me, my face burned up. But once the thought had crossed my mind, I absolutely had to find out for sure. I had to take another step forward. Kashima.
Hi.
I'm sorry, I don't have any equipment to treat you at the moment. So, give me a pass for this. I mustered my courage and began to lick her wound. I knew this was gonna happen, but like, you know... And when I did, Kashima... Surprisingly, she didn't reject my advances. Far from it, in fact. She was making some semi-erotic noises. I'm glad I didn't have to point that out. And it motivated me to run my tongue along her all the more. Okay. Like this was more of a caress than a medical treatment. Each time I lapped up her iron-flavored blood, there's barely any blood there. It wasn't my imagination, right? Kashima's voice was thick with desire. You licking her knee. Her legs were quivering and her eyes glistening from above. It was like she was turned on. Her reaction was spurring me on more by the second. Kashima, this is... She allowed this because it was me. That had to mean... Is it because she has feelings for me? She felt just like I do? That was about all that I could imagine.
Tonoka.
If so, then Kashima... I couldn't stand it and whipped my face upward. It was in that moment. Out of nowhere, a strong gust blew through. No, don't. God fucking damn it. The fucking wind is ruining the mood now. Can't believe it. First it was the rocks on the beach, and now it's the fucking wind. Nature just fucking hates. Nature does not ship Riri and you. Something even more skin-colored than anything so far, and an unfamiliar fabric entered my view. It was the law of nature. Or well, actually, maybe nature does ship them even harder than normal, even harder than other relationships. Other routes. I mean, if a strong breeze blew in these circumstances, it was a given that it would flip back in the skirt she was wearing. In this position, the underwear that concealed the base of this leg of hers would be fully visible to me. I went stiff as a board. Damn. I couldn't look away. And Kashima's shrill scream and the sound of her holding her skirt down drowned that out. She blushed bright red, then frantically smoothed out her skirt into its original position. Kashima? Kashima looked positively mortified, almost to the point of tears. What? Sorry. I jumped back and put distance between us in a huge fluster. Afterward, Kashima's face was flushed bright red, with her head hung low. She wouldn't say a word, nor would she look me in the eye. Given that, I didn't want to risk putting my foot in my mouth. Here's the thing. Nature, although nature ships you and Kashima, they're telling you that you're only allowed to confess to her during the festival. You're not allowed to do it before the festival. I don't even know if there is going to be another festival that they're gonna actually go to as a group, right? But it's the nature, it's the law of Kakenuke, right? You have to confess during a festival, and you need to end the route before the summer break ends. And the epilogue always has to be after the summer break ends. After the credits, right? Heck, I couldn't look her straight in the eye either. After all, even just being together like this made the image of what I'd witnessed earlier resurface. Her panties, that prim underwear, her fair skin, and her voluptuous lower body. The base of a girl's legs. Kashima utterly defenseless. I had seen that before. Yeah, you've seen her pink bra, and now you've seen her pink panties. My heart had raced back then too, which made me all the more aware of her as a woman. But it was nothing compared to what just happened, though. Things were different now. To be honest, I was incredibly turned on right now, and I felt terrible for it. Why don't we go home? Yeah, I couldn't look Kashima in the face. Or rather, I felt too ashamed to face her in the truest sense. That only held even more true since I knew how much it bothered Kashima as well. I couldn't act like I had previously, and I was at a loss for what I should do. Which was why afterward we parted ways without either of us saying much of anything to each other. Even after I got home, I was both worried and incredibly horny. Don't worry,